Hello, y'all, and welcome back to the penultimate round of Season 2 of the Booty Radio F1 team. We are in Qatar, the last sprint event of the season. We have this race weekend, and then, of course, we have Abu Dhabi coming up next to finish off the season. But let's get ready to head in. We did manage to get to that 100-point mark. It's going to be highly unlikely to get to 119 to beat our mark from last season, so I'm not particularly expecting too much out of that. Although not impossible if we have a good result from both cars in the sprint and the Grand Prix, we might be able to pull it off. But I don't expect too much. We did manage to grab just that one extra point at Las Vegas. Didn't qualify particularly well, got helped out by some of the opponents taking the two-stop strategy. But a P10, P11 is not a terrible result, but you can see the last few races has been quite the struggle to be scoring points. We get two opportunities to score points. Obviously, P8 is a tough margin to reach with the way that the performance charts are, but let's see if we can qualify well enough. We might be able to pull it off.
It's all about flow and pace today, qualifying in Qatar. A high-speed test that will set the grid for tomorrow's race. So welcome along.
So as always, on a set of mediums first, getting ready for our first shot at qualifying around the Losail International Circuit here in Qatar. Fast and flowing is the name of the game here in Qatar, so it's all about keeping that minimum speed up, that momentum through all these fast corners, and just getting a feel on how to traverse. Turn one, not a very big braking zone here. And we took a little bit of margin there, but out of turn one. Turn two is a little bit of awkward. It's kind of tightens up on the exit just a little bit. Now we get to the two right-handers. Braking a little past the 50-meter board. Keep the car, hope it sticks. Now we're down to the slow hairpin. Get the car rotated. Some bumps on the exit that we have to be careful with. Now we got this long right-hander that you love to just wait for the grip to get there. Now a little flat-out right-hander. Now this tricky left-hander sets up a very important run, though. Use as much of the track on exit as we can. Now we've got these fast combination, three right-handers, very high speed to get through them all. And always about trying to stay in track limits. That front left tire screaming in agony by the time you get to the end. And now one more corner to go. Get it rotated on the power. We can actually hold overtake even through pretty much the entire end of the lap. A 120.074 on the mediums. We're only about a tenth off of our teammate who was on the softs. All right, we've been shuffled down to P13, kind of as expected, but we've got the soft tires on. Big opportunity to improve on this lap. So let's see what we can get out of the grippier, faster tires. Well, one DRS zone, so not a lot of overtaking opportunity to be had around this circuit. The extra grip of those softs really showing itself. In the early stage of the lap, almost flat out now through that corner. Teeny bit wide on the exit there. That might cost us just a bit of momentum, but we are able to get it back with the extra grip. Now for the last set of corners. Getting these are crucial. Nearly track limits there as we go a little wide. Final corner on the power. Overtaking David. We're going to find nearly a second on that lap. Where's that going to put us? A 19.1 gets us right inside the top 10 there.
And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend. So we'll see you all tomorrow.
All right, so in P10, always it's going to be a challenge to hit that P8 because of how fast the lead teams are. We're just a couple of tenths behind Alex Albon in 9th. Championship leader, though, Lando Norris, only starting P8, while Leclerc, the man who's been on a run of form with wins, is up in P2, challenging for the Drivers' Championship.
So it's all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? We're back here in Losail for a track that's 3.34 miles long. There are 16 turns around its unique three-prong shape and just a single DRS zone out of turn 16. It's fast and it's flowing, and there's a good overtaking opportunity with DRS down the long straight and into turn 1. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Tsunoda, Piastri, Ayrton Senna, and Russell, Antonelli, Norris, Albon, and Victor Martins, Gasly, Sainz, Joshua Pierce, and Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Doohan, Ollie Behrman, and Nico Hülkenberg, Lawson, Hadjar, Bortoletto, and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
All right, looks like it wants us to run the soft tire for this. The question is the soft tire going to survive? Says the medium is going to be roughly 2 seconds slower. What's the fuel margin we need? We need 16.2. Let's just give it a nice healthy 16.4. And yeah, we'll follow the suggestion and see what it wants us to do. I think we're probably going to be mediums and hards in the Grand Prix. Although we could be softs and mediums if this stint runs well. I know tire wear is typically the struggle around here up the front left. Okay, we do have 2 drivers on mediums right in front of us, so if we can get a good launch with the softs. Ooh, lots of wheel spin. Not really able to get that move done with the Gasly right behind us. They're going side by side in front, so there's really not a good path to search through while they are just blocking this whole path off. It's exactly what we didn't want at the start, because it took away a couple of our best first lap passing opportunities because they were just blocking the entire sidewalk side by side. But now we have proper work to do to settle into this race. And Norris is already streaking away. Looks like the Red Bulls have managed to make it 1-2, although Leclerc looks to be re-attacking down into turn 1. Sainz has gotten past Gasly, so he's got some good pace. Oh, who's that? Is that Norris? Norris off the circuit. He's still parked. Is he retirement? No, he's moving again. Well, now we do have a point staring us in the face. If we can get past Alex Albon, the problem is his tires are going to be better as this sprint goes on. And Carlos Sainz is on a tear pace-wise. He is on the move. A little wide, we'll take that track limits warning. Well, this might be our best opportunity to go for the overtake. They just get off that corner so much better. We make a move around the outside. So we're up into a points paying position. But how long will that last? We're only just over the halfway mark of this sprint. How much battery can I conserve? He's got DRS, he's got the overspeed, he's going around the outside. He's going to get fully clear of me. Oh, in contact with Sainz as he stuck his nose up in there. So we don't have the straight line speed to hold them off with DRS. So we need to essentially make the overtake on lap 9 and then carry that position through. I mean, we'll deploy all the battery we've got left. We're going to have DRS. Yellow flag's behind, so no help there. But yeah, we're just not going to get anywhere near close enough to attack him. Behrman out of the session. And Sainz will break that 1 second gap, I think, pretty easily before he crosses the line. Barring a mistake from him. Fuel is measured outright. There we go, checkered flag. Just missed out on the points there.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Not quite enough tire life to survive the very end.
So that wraps up the sprint race, but there's still more action yet to come this weekend. We've got qualifying and, of course, the Grand Prix.
So no points for Lando Norris in that one. We were just on the outside of sprint points. It does look encouraging for the Grand Prix if we can qualify well. Pace looks all right. I think when we get on the more durable tires, we might be able to keep them alive a little bit longer. But an important P2 for Leclerc. That's 7 points more that he's cut into the gap of one Mr. Lando Norris, which is now a 33-point margin. So it's still all to play for that Drivers' Championship.
It's all about flow and pace today, qualifying in Qatar. A high-speed test that will set the grid for tomorrow's race. So welcome along.
Here we are, Grand Prix qualifying now. As usual on our set of soft tires, getting the engine turned up and everything to get after it. If we can have a similar qualifying performance to what we had for the sprint, I think we'll be in a pretty good shape for the race itself. So let's get underway with our first flying lap here. Down to turn one as usual, a little after the 50-meter board. In fact, we probably could have waited even a little bit longer because we had so much grip that the car just sort of turned in. Although, a pretty smooth first couple of corners. Bit tentative through the double left-handers just to make sure we were within the margins that we needed to be. Able to get on the power nice and early there. So now we're going to carry this speed all the way as far as we can go around the lap. Keep it right within track limits, that front left tire. Rather displeased. And then out of the final corner. Give ourselves a 19.103. So a good start to the qualifying session. We're back out for our second run here on the used tires. Realistically, our first run was very good. I don't know that we're going to have a lot of opportunity to improve on this second run, all things considered. So, but we'll put the effort in and see what we can do. DRS open, and away we go. Better attack of turn one there. So we know what we can do in turn one on the fresh tires, especially. A little wide. So we should be able to just about carry the momentum that we need. About just under 2/10 now, losing just a teeny bit of ground on the lap time. Turned in just a touch early there. Out of the final corner, they're going to find a smidge of time, another 10th to get us into the 18s. No improvement in position, it would appear, though. All right, getting ready for our final run of the day. We are sitting in provisional P8, which is kind of a surprise. The one who is outside of that top 8 that should be is none other than championship leader Lando Norris. So he's got some work to do at the end of this qualifying session as do we, just to make sure we shore up our final position. Seemed like not a great exit, though, to start the lap, so we may be kind of on the back foot potentially to start. Gave up a little bit of time through the first corners. Attacking much harder through the double left-hander. Try and make up some time there. We lost some time on this long righty. Make sure we get the nose rotated, and that will be a fair chunk of time we're going to find there. Good exit. We've been pushed down to 10th now. Albin's gone ahead. I'm assuming that Lando Norris in the Mercedes has probably figured out his lap just a bit. One more corner for us. Good exit. We're going to find around 4.5 tenths. Does that move us back into the top 8? In the P9, though, best of the rest. So a good lap overall. Really pushed hard at the end to get there. Verstappen with the fastest time, but a 5-place penalty incoming from him, meaning Leclerc and Norris, the championship battle, will share the front row in this one. Should get quite interesting. Antonelli and Russell also side by side. So we could get off to an interesting start. Honestly, we were only about a 10th behind Senna, which was a pretty good run in qualifying. That being said, our one-lap pace is pretty good around here. It's the tire wear and keeping those tires alive at this track that's the bigger issue.
Welcome back to Qatar and the Lusail International Circuit. There's a long history of two-wheeled motorsport action here, but in 2021, Lewis Hamilton won out as part of an epic battle that year with Max Verstappen. But who will win out tonight? So we're back here in Lusail, and this is the track map. 3.34 miles, 16 turns, and just one DRS zone out of turn 16. It's already a fast and flowing track after all. There's a good overtaking opportunity with DRS, though, through the long straight and into turn 1. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Piastri, Antonelli, George Russell and Verstappen, Tsunoda, Martins, Albon and Pierre Gasly, Ocon, Pierce, Fernando Alonso and Sainz, Stroll, Bortoletto, Ayrton Senna and Isaac Hadjar, Doohan, Lawson, Hulkenberg and Ollie Behrman rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Okay, looks like the medium to hard strategy is the strategy we're going to go with. We need 47.4 kilos of fuel we will put on board. I think we're just going to try and keep it simple and try and get ourselves up into a good points-paying finish. Starting P8, Senna's further down with a grid penalty, so he's going to have to work his way back into the top 10. But let's see if we can't jump our way in and at least cause some disruption up near the front. Both cars in front of us on the soft tires, so they should get a launch. Contact between the two Red Bulls. Well, the same thing that happened in the sprint is now happening, where they're just kind of blocking me in. Ocon has made his way up into 9th. Soft tires working well for him. The question is, are those on the soft tires going 1 stop or are they going 2 stop? Driver behind.
Ocon behind.
Yeah, that's so unhelpful. Maybe we need to finish a lap first. The pace of the lead pack is definitely there, though. Looks like Piastri in one of the McLarens has actually broken up the order. Norris now down in 3rd, it looks like. In fact, Norris now shuffled behind George Russell. The Ferrari getting ahead, at least as far as I can tell on the dots on the map. Albon is back through Ocon. This is going to be an important lap to push on. Even if I lose the DRS to Tsunoda, I want to make sure that I am not giving DRS to Alex. Although going wide like that is certainly not going to help. Yellow flags. What's the trouble? Very quick. It's further back, so it's nothing amongst the leaders. A little bit behind us. Aston Martin dropping out. Lance Stroll out of the session. Albon, I think, is just barely going to hang on to DRS on me, which is a bit unfortunate. Driver in front.
Tsunoda ahead. And the time last lap, 1:22.2. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 1.3 seconds. They're all fresh softs. Their tyres are 2 laps old. We think they've got 1 more stop. All right, at the moment, you're losing 3/10 a lap. Come on, dig in.
Okay, soft tires also look to be on just the 1-stop strategy as well, so it's just going to be a different 1-stop. As we pick up our first track limits warning of the race. 1/10 of the way into the race. Looks like it's just going to happen on the DRS straight, though. Out of the final corner, only 3/10 separating them. Not only is he going to get to pass, he's going to get that nice DRS slingshot down towards turn 1. Which means he's also going to take a healthy chunk of time out of me with that straight line speed. I'm going to use battery to make sure that he has to get me on the main straight. I think if he tries to pass me in these sweepers, it's just going to be awkward and we're going to lose time. So if we make him pass on the main straight, I'll at least be able to tuck in and get some quality slipstream off of him too. So there he goes. As expected, the much faster McLaren. We're going to duck into the slipstream, get a little help down into turn 1. But I would expect by the time we return to the DRS zone on the next lap, he will be quite a ways ahead of me. Piastri and Russell in the pits. Oof, that was a big slide. Definitely lost a lot of ground this lap. We need a good stop from the team here. Need a good stop from the crew. Okay, in the pit lane. One of the Williams carries on, as expected. Good stop. Should have clean air coming out. Name of the game now is get these tires up to temperature fast. Piastri out of the session. Okay, it's the end of his day. Cold tires are a bit tricky to start off on. We're nearly up to temperature. Okay, Joshua in the pits.
And that's Joshua in the pits. Joshua in the pits now.
Okay, the other Williams is on the move, working his way towards pit exit. Should clear him quite easily. Yep, Sainz is cleared. All right, here we go, getting ready to start the final lap of the Qatar Grand Prix. We have been steady on this hard tire stint, has been very consistent and gradually growing the gap to Sainz and Albon in the Williams. It looked like in that first stint that they were going to have kind of an advantage at the end of the stints on tire lives, but where they closed the gap rapidly at the end of the medium stint, the hard tire, it never really manifested itself. Obviously, we were never going to have the pace to keep up with the top 4 teams. Antonelli has stretched his gap out to nearly 20 seconds ahead of me. But with the retirement of one of the McLarens, Oscar Piastri, it puts us in a really good spot as Leclerc takes yet another victory. It does look like Lando is going to hold down P3 at least. So only a 10-point swing in this particular race, but I believe that makes for an 18-point reduction overall on the course of the weekend. We'll take a look and see what the championship standings look like. But we are going to pick up a nice solid 4 points today. Joshua, unfortunately, just outside the points. I think he's been fighting for P11. You can see a healthy gap between him and the Williams. But the checkered flag is out, and we finish off the Qatar Grand Prix.
Race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
About as good of a result as we could have hoped for. That P8 with one retirement ahead of us. Senna, of course, had that penalty, but came through pretty easily early on.
Charles Leclerc, what a drive, what a victory. He wins.
With 5 race victories now, is for the others now really to try and stop that momentum that they've got on their side, because before too long, they're going to be looking at the championship. It's theirs, it's within grasp right now, of course.
From lights out to the checkered flag, this is what they're racing for. It's points and a trip to the podium. And who gets to take the top step of the podium? Yes, it is I, Leclerc, Charles Leclerc on top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Yeah, so 32 points for Leclerc on the weekend, only 15 for Lando Norris. We managed to grab a solid 4 points, which I can't complain too much about. Senna, of course, fastest man on the track. Sainz had a good race, came from 14th up into the points. Joshua did move forward, but not by a significant margin to get himself into the points. Let's take a quick look at the standings. What does that mean for the championship? It is 23 points. So with the one race left to go, it is going to require a Leclerc victory and no points for Lando Norris. So in spite of the late season charge from Leclerc, barring absolute disaster for the Mercedes of Norris, it will come up just short as far as that goes. We're up into 72 points now, so that'll make a solid 104 for the team. We still would need to score 15 to match last year's total, so highly unlikely. It would be a P5, P6 finish would just about get us there. But 52 points, the gap between Ferrari and Mercedes in the constructors. So that is still very much to play for between the two of them at the end. Although I think, unlike on the flip side of the drivers, it is going to be Ferrari that's got the advantage there, and will need some kind of disaster for them for Mercedes to take the constructors.
Unfortunately, one of the parts failed during development. We'll need to revisit the development area and give it another go.
Okay, so points on the board. Yep, love to see it. I believe we have, a couple of upgrades that are gonna be finished for the final race of the season. We'll be able to put on the car. We did have to do some redevelopments. I don't think there's anything new to do research-wise. Let's make sure that we are fully developed. Yeah, both of those front nose cones are done. We should be able to finish up the last of the chassis adaptations. Great. Failure on the rotors. Are we going to be able to get it before the end of the closure? So we'll put those rotors in. So unfortunately, that power unit upgrade is not going to make it for either car. We are up now to quite a few parts on the cars. What's the progress looking like these days? We are going to take a small jump in the end, but it's really bunched up at the front. You can see McLaren had some late developments, as has Red Bull. So it could make it interesting for Lando Norris at the end of this one, as Mercedes held in a healthy advantage all season there. Anything else I need to do? Nothing I can fit in any of those. We will just do some fan outreach. And lastly, check in with corporate and our finances. Where are we at the cost cap? We should have just about measured it correctly for when we stopped doing facility improvements, which is good. We learned things and we're smart about stuff. So let's advance some time here.
Boss, need to make you aware of something.
That's fine. We're not signing Paul Aaron. I think we've already got our signatures for our drivers. Am I crazy? Am I wrong? I thought we signed both of our drivers. Let me just double check. Yes. Details. Yeah, signed for next season. Signed for next season. So yeah, we don't have to worry about either of these guys, these free agents. I guess the question is, do we keep them on the buffer just in case for next year? But let's continue advancing.
Boss, notice that we've got some cash not currently invested into anything. Maybe think about buying some facility improvements. It's great to keep HQ up to date and ensure we can hit our goals.
Yeah, it would be truly something to do that. But, oh no, did the game crash here? Did I break it? I can't move it. That's unfortunate. Okay, well. That's not quite how I wanted to end it, but I can't operate this menu anymore, so we've broken something. I'll figure it out off screen. Thank you all for joining me. We have one race left to go in Season 2. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.